So again, if you're a trader, I want you to listen to this very, very well. Most especially when you feel like you know almost everything about the market, the price action, the market structure. But again, you are failing to produce money that you can rely on when the money is coming from the market. You understand? I get it. It's a little bit of, there's a lot of frustration over there. You get sometimes disappointed, you feel betrayed and all that. You understand? But again, I want you guys to understand one thing, that again, the first thing first, you have to put in your mind that the market owes you nothing. You understand? So the market itself owes you nothing. At that point, if you reach to a point realizing that the market owes you nothing, it means that if you go to the market and execute a trade and the trade turns into a losing trade, you won't feel betrayed. Why? Because the market doesn't owe you a winning trade. It doesn't. Most of us, we go in front of the market thinking that since I've been studying, now the market has to give me a winning trade. That's not how things work. The market owes you nothing. That's why even if you get a losing trade, they don't send you a message to apologize. You understand? You can even get 20 losses in a row. The market doesn't really care. You know what is funny? The market doesn't even know that you exist. That's the worst thing. So again, I want you to understand one thing, that the reason why you are making money at the same time you are losing it all, it is because you haven't built a winning mindset yet. Okay, so there is a winning mindset that you have to acquire to be able to produce consistency from the market. So first of all, let us first say this. What is consistency? You understand? What is the true meaning of consistency? You understand? I personally identify consistency as having a steady rising curve. Okay, a steady rising curve, meaning that your equity is going up, but again, at the end of the day, a steady rising curve with the normal drawdowns, meaning that your equity is going up at the same time it's going down a little bit. Why do you have to have drawdowns? Because again, there is no trading strategy outside there that has 100% winning rate. So you're going to have these losses. They are going to be there. You can't avoid them. The losses are going to be there. You understand? So now, you're asking yourself, why is it that you make money at the same time you lose it all? You make money at the same time you lose it all. So if you're in that kind of situation, that is called boom and busters. You make money, but at the end of the day, you are not able to hold that money. The market always takes it back from you. Understand? The good news that I can tell you, if you're in that kind of situation, it means that you know almost everything about the market. There are a few things that you really need to acquire so that you can reach to the final point whereby you can make money consistently from the market. You make the money, but you don't give it back to the market. So first thing that I have to tell you is one thing, that again, the market doesn't reward knowledge or effort. Understand? I repeat, the market doesn't reward knowledge or effort, because believe me or not, you have been putting in the effort, you have been collecting the knowledge and everything, but again, you are failing to produce money from the market. You're asking yourself, what is truly going on? I want you to understand one thing, that the reason why you have up to now you haven't reached a point of producing consistency, because again, the market itself doesn't reward knowledge or effort. Okay, the market rewards alignment. You understand? So there are some beliefs that you're having in your head that are not corresponding with the market perspective. In that way, you find yourself that you are sabotaging yourself. You are doing things that you really truly don't want to do, but you find yourself doing them in a way whereby you find yourself losing and losing and losing and losing and losing. You understand? Ask yourself one thing: how many times do you go in front of the market and you find yourself doing the opposite of what you know? You understand? You know exactly what you should be doing, but you find yourself doing the opposite. Because as a human being, there are some beliefs that you are having in your head. You understand? Maybe the beliefs about losing, beliefs about risk. You understand? And these beliefs don't really correspond with the market. You understand? So first of all, as human beings, we don't like losing. You understand? When we lose, we feel really, really bad. You understand? And we think that losing is something wrong. That's why you make your plans, you go in front of the market, you execute a trade, the trade ends up losing, and then you end up reacting by revenge trading, over trading, removing your stop loss, and all those things. Because why? The things that you are doing, you think you are protecting yourself from losing, but again, you find yourself even losing more. Why? Because again, the beliefs that you're having, that you're holding about losses, the belief that you're holding about risk, does not correspond with the market. Professional traders have learned one thing, that losing is part of winning. What about you? What do you think? You understand? You logically know that losing is part of trading, but in your subconscious mind, you understand, your subconscious mind doesn't accept that as the reality. Because believe me or not, if your subconscious mind accepts losing as the reality, if you could lose a trade, you could do what? You could make sure that you walk away and do things the right way. But every time you lose a trade, you end up having a whole day that is not so good. Why? Because again, that loss keeps on paining you, because you feel like every time you lose, you see yourself as a failure. Every time you lose, you see yourself as if you're not good enough. Every time you lose, you feel like the whole world hates you. You understand? But I want you to understand one thing, that the market is not your friend and the market is not your enemy. The market is neutral. Okay? So, for you to reach a point whereby you can start producing consistency in profitability, for you to start making money that you can rely on from trading, I want you to reach a point of understanding that there is some mental framework that you need to build. And without this mental framework, no matter how knowledge you collect, no matter how much effort you're going to have, you won't be able to produce consistency in profitability. Think about it. If the market rewards effort on knowledge, don't you think that almost everybody could be having profits from the market? Almost everybody could be profitable. But ask yourself one thing: why is it that 97 or no, if not 95% of people in the market up to now are still losing? You understand? So the thing is not really knowledge, because almost everybody has the knowledge. The thing is, there is some mental framework that you need to acquire to be able to produce consistency, to be able to have money on a weekly or monthly basis that you're going to be getting from the market. So if you don't have this mental framework, no matter how much knowledge that you're having, you won't be able to produce consistency. You understand? So there are a lot of beliefs that you're holding about risk. There are a lot of beliefs that you're holding about losses, that these beliefs, you need to update them, because these beliefs are not corresponding with the market. You understand? Beliefs that you hold about randomness, the beliefs that you hold about probability. You understand? So all these beliefs these beliefs that you have in your head, they are sabotaging you. You understand? The reason why you have plans, but you reach in front of the market, you do the opposite, because the plans logically work, but your subconscious mind knows something different. You understand? For example, you know that I'm supposed to do 1 trade in a day or 2 trades in a day. You go in front of the market, you do the 1 or the 2 trades that you're supposed to be doing. For example, let us say you have lost the trades. What happens? And then before you walk away, you see another nice setup. You understand? What your brain tells you, you know what? This next setup looks perfect. Why don't we just grab it? You understand? As a professional trader, even if the trade looks so perfect, you should be walking away and you honor your rules and then go away. But what are you going to do? You're going to find yourself putting in the 3rd trade. At that point, whether the trade wins or loses, you are building bad habits. And these bad habits are going to do what? Are going to stock you. All the money that you're going to make when you do these bad habits, I promise you, you're going to lose it back to the market. You have seen it very many times. Or sometimes you go in front of the market, you know that you're supposed to hold risk to reward of 1 to 2 or 1 to 3. When you reach in front of the market, just because there is a potential that the market could still keep on going, you end up holding up to the moon. You don't want to get out of the market. You think the market is for your father. What happens? The market ends up reversing, coming out, taking you out. You understand? So all these things that you keep on doing is because your brain believes something different with your plan. So you can never reach a point of making money if your subconscious mind has different beliefs and your plan has different beliefs. You need to reach to a point whereby you are having everything aligned. You understand? You are having everything aligned. In that way, the market is going to become very, very easy for you. But if you haven't reached to that point of realizing that it's your subconscious mind sabotaging your trades, there is no way you're going to achieve consistency in profitability. So one thing that I could advise you, you need to update those beliefs. The beliefs that you have about risk, the beliefs that you have about losing, you understand? The beliefs that you have about probability, you understand? You go in front of the market, you execute a trade, the trade turns into a losing trade. You know very well that losing is part of trading. Instead of accepting and then walking away, you end up doing different. Or this time, if you accept the losing trade, what you do, you walk away. The next day, you come in front of the market. For example, let us say yesterday you lost a trade you bought on top of support. The trade ended up losing. The next day, you reach in front of the market, and then the trade is also on top of support again. You understand? You have everything that you need to call this next trade a quality setup. And as a professional trader, you should be executing this trade. But now, at that point, what happens? Your brain comes and tells you that, hey, you know what? This trade looks exactly like the trade that you have been taking before. So we don't really need to take this trade. They might fake us like they faked us yesterday. You understand? So meaning that your brain is trying to associate this trade with yesterday's trade. Now, after that, what is going to happen? You're going to end up hesitating to take this trade because your brain is convincing you that this trade looks exactly like yesterday's trade. In that way, today's trade is going to go your way when you're not inside the trade. You understand? Sometimes you even end up getting frustrated. You even grab it on the way, then it retraces a little bit, takes you out, and then it continues its way. So why do all these habits happen? Because, okay, as human beings, the brain that you're having was not wired for trading. Okay, the brain that you're having was not wired for trading. Your brain is thinking in associating moments, yesterday's moment with today's moment. Yet when it comes to trading, every moment is unique. You understand? So every time in trading is unique, but your brain is not doing that way. Your brain is not thinking in probabilities that what happened yesterday, there's a high probability that what is happened yesterday is going to be totally different with what happened with what is going to happen today. So what does it mean? If yesterday's trade lost and you go into today's trade and you have everything that you use to identify an opportunity, and the opportunity represents itself, you take the trade. But your brain is going to make you hesitate. In you hesitating, then the trade ends up losing. And then you keep on being in the same loop, January up to December. So I want you to understand one thing, that the market by itself, it is easy. That's the reality. The biggest struggle that you're having up to now in your trading is your brain. So you need to reach a point whereby you need to update your brain, you understand, to a point whereby these beliefs that you have about probability, losing, risk, and all that, you change them. In that way, if you change them and you start thinking in uniqueness of every trade, okay, you start understanding that losing is part of winning, that even if you have 3 losses in a row, you understand, 3 days in a row when you're losing, you won't retaliate or you won't revenge trade and all that. Believe me or not, when it comes to, when you keep on doing what you're supposed to be doing, over time, you're going to find yourself profitable. So the brain you're having was not wired for trading. The brain you're having was wired for survival. So you need to make sure that you update those beliefs on a daily basis. You keep on stacking the winning trades again and again and again. You understand? So in that way, you're going to be able to reach to where you're going. So otherwise, again, my name is Top. We have trading lessons, live trading lessons every day at 2 p.m. New York time. You understand? You can search that word Top 256 FX. Top FX 256 on TikTok. You can join our live lessons. We have those lessons. Everything is for free. We talk about those trading lessons on TikTok, so you can join us, and then we keep on pushing. Otherwise, all I can tell you, the reason why you're still here and you're finishing this video is because you're so serious about your dreams. And I believe me or not, it's just a matter of time for whatever that you have been working for to manifest itself. Keep on pushing, keep on going. Don't lose hope, no matter how hard things get. You understand? Keep on pushing. Consider subscribing, liking, and commenting your thought about what we have talked about. Thank you so much.